Alright, so once you put in the code on the website, you head over to Larina, talk to her, and gather the final voyage. Alright, so that'll be locked down to the hunt for the golden key. Yes, we would like it.
Adventure.
Once you got that, head over to your ship and vote on it. Alright, so head down to your ship and vote on the quest. Oh, a little bit different island. Looks like it's going to start us off at Rapier Cay. Alright, so now that we made it to the island, this one should be relatively easy since it's going to be completely out in the open. Oh, you got it? Nice. It's following you. Alright, we got our page. We can leave. I warned the hoarders not to use the outside in these quests, but they've insisted, and you meddled in my plan, you pest. The gloves are off, and I'm not happy, and neither will you be. I know how to deal with pests, and they be rat or bird or flea. They must be exterminated and expunged from the scene, but if you want to show that to serve me, you are keen. Prove to me that you're worth it by sacrificing all. How you die is not my concern, by shark or sword or fall. But die indeed you must to discover what to do next. A trip to the afterlife to understand the context. Step beside a resident musician, you must learn the number of red and waxy lights that are on the left of the rail burn. This gives the number north to south to which you must aspire. Now take the metal dragons on the deck that might breathe fire. To them you add the smaller cages for wood, whether they burn or not. Plus how many music makers by the steps now plot. The squares west to east that you need to lead you to the spot where another music maker hangs in a tower. Climb all the ramps, and to the right you turn your head. Below are verdant lights indicating ghosts and spirits of the dead. One's a torch that forms part of a cross, and of course it's green. Now dig there next, and the next clue marks the site upon the map so it's always can be seen. Alright, so from the ferryman, if you look on the left side here, you'll notice that we have one statue holding a cowbell, which is going to signify the music maker. So he wants the left side. Now, it's not actually the candles next to the Dutchman, or ferryman rather. You need the candles back here. So you're going to notice there's 14 lit candles. There's going to be a couple unlit in between, so make sure you count the correct ways. And that's going to be the first part of our clue from north to south. Now, from west to east, we're going to need to count all the cannons on the Dutchman, all the torches, and the music maker. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and come all the way up to the very top. We get 11 and 12. 14 down, 12 across. Now at this point, it is extremely vague and it doesn't actually tell you the correct way to solve this riddle. But what they want you to do is not start from the starting island, but go all the way over to A1 and count 14 down, or just scroll down to 14. Then we need to go to 12, which will take us over to the Fort of the Damned at L14. Alright, so now we are looking for another music maker hangs in a tower. Climb all the ramps and to the right, turn your head. Alright, so the music maker is going to be on the... It's storming right now, but somewhere around the southeast probably of the island. It's pretty much right in the front as soon as you start going up. So with the music maker above you, if you look to the right, we do have a couple of the random ghost torches here. Oh, there we go. So right next to the walls, there is one torch that's sort of leaning against another one, making an X. So let's head over there and dig, which is going to be right next to where this basically change weapons station is, the armory. Bam! Within the big tower, find one recently seen who's tinged with white. Stand behind his star and fill it squarely with red and waxy light. Use your compass and take a bearing to sail through fog once more. Land on the eastern side of this small isle and seek southeast along the shore. A stony arch there you'll find, but not one by nature's shape. Pass within along the path to a tree where heads are staked. Close enough left hand, death to kiss on the lips, and right is profile. Above's right head and between leaves spies our next target isle. Now set your sail and land upon the isle at the pier. On a curved bone, you'll see some rubies hanging here. Align them with the peak from far away. That's the route, you buccaneers. Run along the water's edge, past big rocks, spy left, one more, rubies there. Stay in where they hang and turn back to see another ruby pair. Follow them inside in some cups within one bearing these jewels you'll view. Turn at the cups and we'll spy a banner of a similar hue. Walk to the bridge and diamond cut from its cloth comes into sight. Stop before you pass and align to turn it to red with ruby light. Stay still and spy a rope between two posts and that way to sail's right. Landing on the east, I ran and swam southwest along the shore, until a star in a corner but not inside I saw. I stood on the fence behind it, being careful not to fall, lined it up just right within the laziest drum of all. A bearing led me over grass and rock until I reached the sea. Looking north, I could see across that further inland led me. Once through, I moved uphill to see two drums alive plus one that died. On top of these, through the distance grass, condemned music makers I spied. Dig and then mark this spot on the map and act as a later guide. Alright, so over behind the white lantern inside of the main tower in the Fort of the Damned, you'll look and the red flames are going to be west-northwest, and that's going to be our next direction. Alright, so from Fort of the Damned, it looks like Castaway Isle is going to be the west-northwest. We do need to be on the east side of the isle and just go slowly up the shore. Alright, so now that we've made it to Castaway Isle, we do need to be running along the southeast shore. The man-made archway is going to be on the southmost point of the island. Alright, so we have an archway over on the very end of the island. Pass within along the path, a tree where heads are staked, so just follow along this little sand path here. You're going to be head staked on this palm tree here. Close enough to left hand death to kiss on the lips, and right is in the profile, right above the head and between the leaves, spy our next target isle. Alright, so if you have this guy's skull, and you see the leaves, if you look directly across, we do have an island directly ahead at the northwest. So from Castaway Isle, it is going to take us to Reaper's Hideout. So we have a pier over on the southeast side of Reaper's Hideout. Our bone's going to be directly on the pier. They have a couple of the rubies hanging from it. Line them with the peak far away. And that's the route, you buccaneers. With the rubies right above your head, if you spyglass across, we do have one huge peak over in the ocean, so it's going to be taking us over to the north by northwest. It does say past the big rocks, so if you keep on going, there's going to be another archway found on the next pier. Turning back, see another ruby pair, which is going to be found on the bones heading towards the Reaper's Hideout tent. Follow them inside, some cups with one bearing these jewels you'll view. Turn at the cup and you'll spy a banner of similar hue. So the cup at the table does have rubies along the edge of it. And we should see a banner in here with a similar hue. Should be the one directly above it. Stay still and spy a rope between two posts. That weighs the sails just right. Alright, so from the chalice area, you just come directly forward. There's going to be a small bridge here. There's going to be a diamond cutout inside of the banner here, and you line it up with the red rubies like it was originally, which would be over towards the west. We're staying still. We have a rope between two posts, which is going to be to the big island. Should still be roughly around the west. Alright, so from Reaper's Hideout, if you go west, that's going to take you over to Wanderer's Refuge. Alright, so over on Wanderer's Refuge, all the way down south, we have one lantern connected sort of next to this little camp outpost. I stood on the fence behind it, careful not to fall. I lined it up just right with the laziest drum of all. Okay, so the laziest drum would be the one down sleeping. I The bearing led me over grass and rock until I reached the sea. Okay, so it's going to be having us go in the northwest direction. On top of these, through the distant grass, the condemned music maker I spied. Alright, so we have a rock all the way closest to the ocean. We can spy across. We see a archway directly across from us. That's going to be the pathway that they're talking about. He moves uphill and sees 2 drums alive plus 1 that died. So we're looking for 2 drums that are in good shape and 1 that's possibly fully broken. Which should be found over right next to where the island divots, and we have a whole bunch of palm trees on the north going up the hill. Is the best way to describe it. On top of these, the distant grass condemned music maker I spied. Alright, so we just have to stand on top of these, and we're looking for a music maker somewhere across from us. So the bell is going to be found north up the hill, and it's going to be located right there. Alright, so all we have to do is dig underneath the bell. You got a place to dig? Nice. There we go. It's a little bit finicky since there is some rocks here, so just play around with it and you'll eventually get it. Watch out for lightning. From under the ringer, take 4 paces to 1:30. Looking that way, I spied 1 more metal dragon by a drum. Run to stand before this yawning death, and also on the edge. By the shore, you'll spot 2 poles of wooden peak out from a ledge. Go down and find a vessel that for sailing is no good upon the shore. Now line a hole for oar with a smaller pole to be sure. Then look in the line on the horizon to see what lies in store. Sail to the eastern side and there you come ashore. Follow the path up and to the center leafy tree. Beside its trunk, turn your back from what to see next to sea. Between some rocks before you in the distance is 1 more. The left of that is a fractured place, through that a glass I saw. Sailing here, I cast about for another's glass to raise, but I saw a fallen 4-legged beast and its legs pointed the way. Sail to an entrance guarded by 2 sea towers, there I found. Up 1 ramp, just past a few flames, I found another leading down. Standing centrally on the 3rd plank, I looked for the next outcome. Through leafy ferns close by, you'll find a star that died atop a drum. I stood beside it, and a chest empty of all its loot. I looked at the tower that housed a metal dragon's brute. I ran and climbed to the dragon's tail and turned nice and calm. Through leafy trees, spy a star that hangs up high from a wooden arm. There in nook now dig marks the spot on the map with a single qualm. So to the entrance guarded by 2 sea towers, there I found. Up 1 ramp just past the flames, I found another leading down. Alright, so the ringer is going to be where we were at in the last part. Take 4 paces to 1:30. So we pull out our block. Need to go a little bit past 1, so something roughly around here. That'd be north to the northeast. Look that way, I spied 1 more metal dragon by a drum, which would be found in between these 2 palm trees here. The leaves are kind of blowing, blocking us right now from the rain. That'll be on the north side of the island. Run to stand before this yachting death, also on the edge. Okay, so we need to be over in the front of it. By the shore, you'll spot 2 poles of wooden peak out from a ledge. Okay, so that'd be over next to the water right there. Go down and find a vessel that for sailing is no good up upon the shore. So if we run down a little bit, we should see a broken boat right here next to the dock. Now line up a hole for oar with a smaller pole to be sure. Then look and line on the horizon to see what lies in store. Sail to the eastern side and there you'll come across shore. So north from this island, it should take us to the one directly across from us. You line it up with that pole and the oar would go through here to row the boat. And we should see shore on the east side of it. So it looks like right now we're looking at like a cliff side. That makes sense with the book. Okay, so on the east side, we come across the shore. Follow the path up and up to a central leafy tree. So we just keep going up the path, and we should see another one branch off like so. We got a leafy tree right here. Beside its trunk, turn your back for what comes next to see. Between some rocks before you in the distance is 1 more. The left is a fractured place that through the glass I saw. Okay, so if we're on this island, we see the rock out in the water. It's going to be the little island all the way directly across from us. So this is just one of those islands where we come here for one thing and we leave and go to the next. Alright, so from Cove, it is taking us over to Rum Runner Isle, which will be over to the east. Alright, so over on the easternmost part of the island, we do have a stool that's fallen down. Alright, so we have the stool fallen down, and if you look over towards the north again, north by northeast, we got 2 sea towers guarding a fortress. Alright, so from Rum Runner Isle, it's going to take us back to Hidden Springs Keep. We should come across this one a bunch in the Hoarders riddles. So as soon as you come on the dock, if you take a right over next to the palm trees and the ferns, you're going to notice this light right here. Kind of hard to see if you're on the third plank though, but if you line it up just right, you can see it right there. Cannons will be directly behind the very colorful fern, blocking our light. From here we look for a tower that housed the metal dragon brute, which would be all the way at the very top of there. I ran and climbed to the dragon's tail and then turned nice and calm through leafy trees and spy a star that hung up high from a wooden arm. Okay, so that little wooden structure there does have a lantern on it. They're in a nook. Now dig and mark this on your map without a qualm. Okay, so the page is going to be found in this little structure, sort of off to the side. That takes us to chapter 4. From the nook I spy a hanging star above a path of wood. Up and down this path I go, beside a rock I stood. Turn left and you'll spy another star, then a tower out to sea. Make them a lighthouse and frame your isle between this and a tree. Land on the southwest beach and seek a crate beside a fire. Again I brought a bird to eat, so spy a house for parrot up higher. Then find where 2 pirates fought and one dropped his blade in dire battle. The handle points the way along the rock and sand to yet another crate. Stand on it, it's laid, and spy the only other crate around, and to their journey take. Travel up the hill to where a 4-legged beast sits, and there investigate. Near a pot for the parrot and a rope on top of the drum, find 5 planks and do not fail. The longer end of the second one from top points the way to sail. Round outer rocks from nearby isle before you land on its northwest coast. Then past a gap, roof of stone, torches burning, this one can boast. And in the distance this tall gap that, for its roof wood exploits, go through this and see and find a way up a ship's wooden point. From the top where it meets a rock, look to your left below. Beyond down on the beach's wooden ribs and 2 lines will show. Climb down and stand on the dry spine between the rows of bones. With your back to the beachside post you'll spy an isle of stone. Sail to the western ramp and go find a star, then spy a music maker that toll. Go up and see 2 torches, one in the isle's stony holes. Past this head in, but don't be tempted by the rightful haul. Outside between 1 torch, 1 sand, and the second on the wall. Above the sandy one's torch up high, find surrender flying nearby. Should you give up? No! Keep moving and more torches you'll spy. The hanging star shows the way after you cross the divide. Climb up and go inside to the final torch and pause there inside. Spy to line up the tip of the spire with handles of what heats up meat. Mark this on the map and dig for the last clue beneath your feet. Past this, head in, but don't be tempted by the rightful haul. Outside between 1 torch on sand and the second on the wall. Alright, so it starts off having us in the exact same nook that we were in originally. Okay, so from the nook, it's talking about the hanging star directly underneath the main stairs to Hidden Keep. You go up, and you go down. Got a rock right here. We have an island out to the southeast. East-southeast. Alright, from Hidden Keep, it's actually going to be taking us to an unmarked island on K9, so it's going to be a little bit different. On the southwest side of K9, on the southmost island, there is going to be a crate right next to a campfire. We need a place to put a bird, which is going to be up the hill. So that'll be up this way. Then we're looking for where 2 pirates fought. So we got 1 dead right here. We Got another one dead. This guy's sword is facing off in the northwest direction. The handle points... Oh, okay, so we're looking for the handles. So we go the exact opposite direction. So we go over towards those green lights. The handle points the way along the rocks and stand yet another crate. So over opposite of the handle, we should see a crate over there. Alright, so at this crate, stand on its lid and spy the only crate around. To there a journey take. Alright, so from this crate over here, if you stand directly on top of the lid and spy across the water, there is going to be a box. The horrible fog that we came with originally has finally disappeared, so apparently it's not this island. Travel uphill where a four-legged beast sits and there investigate. So on K9, there's going to be a dog right next to a campfire. Near a pot for the parrot and a rope on top of a drum, find 5 planks and do not fail. Okay, so that'd be right here. Alright, so the longer end of the second one from the top points the way to the sail. So you guys will notice all of the logs will be placed on top of each other. We got one on the very top, that's going to be number 1, and the one right below it's number 2. So just follow the direction of the wind, pull out your compass, and it is going to be leading in the southeast direction from K9. Alright, so back to the map table. Looking at K9, if you go southeast, that's going to take us over to Shipwreck Bay. Alright, so we need to go around the rocks to the northwest coast, then pass through a gap with a roof of stone. Torches burning, this one can boast. Alright, so once you get in the side, you'll have to be taking a left. Alright, so once you reach Shipwreck Bay, you're going to notice this stone archway here right next to the torches, and you know you're going in the correct direction. In the distance, a tall gap that for its roof wood exploits, which is going to be directly across from us. There's going to be a bridge between 2 different rock mountains. Keep underneath this wooden bridge, and you'll notice a ship's wooden point. If you follow up the wood scaffolding, you should be able to climb all the way up top and climb up the mast. On top where it meets the rock, look to your left below. Beyond, down on the beach, wooden ribs in 2 lines will show. Okay, so it's going to be talking about the hole. You'll notice there's going to be wood archways going back and forth, and that's what it's referring to make a rib. Climb down to stand on the dry spine between the rows of bones. Alright, so now that we are in the middle of the bones, with your back to the beachside post, you'll spy an isle of stones. So turn around from the main point, and directly across from us is going to be the next isle, which is going to be in the east direction. Alright, so from Shipwreck Bay, southeast is going to take you to the Crooked Mast. Alright, so over on Crooked Masts, it does say you need to be on the western ramp and go find a star, then spy a music maker that tolls. One star directly in front of us, which is going to be signified by the gravestone. Alright, so from the lantern, if you look in the south by southeast direction, and pull out your spyglass, there's going to be a wooden post with a bell directly in front of us. All you gotta do is follow the pathway up. Go up and 2 see torches. One of them's this Isle Stony Holes. Past this, head in, but don't be tempted by the right-hand hull. Outside between 1 torch on sand and the second on the wall. And then go to the left. We got 1 torch that's on the wall, 1 that's standing up on its own. Above the sandy ones, a torch up high. Find surrender flying nearby. Should you give up, no, keep moving, and more torches you'll espy. A hanging star shows the way after you cross the divide. Alright, so from the standing torch, it's telling us to jump up on the rocks and climb up to the second story. Once again, we are going to have more torches placed all over the place. So from the torches, if you keep going up the hill, you're going to notice a white flag, which often signifies surrender. From there, we're looking for another hanging star. which will be the direction northwest. Just keep on moving. You'll follow the path of the torches. And hanging star is going to be between the two trees on the right that sort of have a bend in them. Climb up and go inside to find the final torch and pause there to its side. So after you cross the divide, we got a torch here. You're going to want to head over to the cooking pot because that is going to be where our next clue is. Spy to line up the tip of a spire that handles with what heats up meats. Mark this on the map and dig beneath. So you do need to make sure that you keep this island marked on the map because it will be important later on. But if we look off into the storm, we should see a peak. And if we dig right here, we'll find our next page. This has been kind of tricky. There to sit, to see a post and torch a line with a rocky face, then take a swim and look for lots of rungs. Up them you must tread. Up again to find a dragon and point it at Kraken's chicken's head. Climb in, fire the gun to fly and peer through the windows when they're done. One of these show off what gold hoarders love. Can you spot which one? Turn your back, spy yet another dragon across the blue. Go there and seek a traveler that holds a wheel slightly askew. On the wheel's ring of the gold spy, through the scaffolding a light up high. When you travel to see the light, see more pass on by. Up some rungs and walk the planks until you find a pole to rise. At the top, turn spy a dock red that leads towards your prize. This is your next place to visit and the end's in sight. Stand at the back besides the drums and look at your white and waxy lights. They light up with a tiny piece of your precious golden sands. Now use the dragon to fly fast to where you must land. That it? You meddled in my plans for this very last time. What's next? Unearth this item here and you'll feel sublime. Okay, so making note of which islands he specifically tells you to mark. If you look at... Alright, so paying attention to the pages that specifically say you need to make sure they're marked. We got Hidden Springs Keep, we got Wanderer's Refuge, Fort of the Damned, and Crooked Mast. Now, if you go directly in the middle of that, that's going to take you to K12, which is going to be right next to the Reaper's Hideout, and that is going to be our unmarked island. Alright, so once you get to K12, it says, sail to the small island on its eastern isle, the place, to seek a chair near bones that in the shape interlace. So right next to the chairs, they have a dog bone with bones making a cross. So right next to this, and you have a ship. There sit to see a post and torch along with a rocky face. Okay, so that'd be directly in front of us. Then take a swim and look for lots of rungs. Up them you must tread. So we gotta go to the rock directly in front of us, and there should be a cannon to take us to the main island eventually. Alright, so over on the northwest side of the rock, you're going to find a nice ladder to take you all the way up the mast. Be sure while you're climbing the mast to jump off before you get to the top, that way you're able to stand on land. Up again to find a dragon and point it at Kraken's chicken's head. We should see a cannon, and the dragon's chicken's head is going to be found directly in front of us. Climb in, fire the gun, fly, and peer through the windows when you're done. So aim it a little bit up. And on top of his head. Alright, so if you look through the windows, you should see some gold or something in here. Alright, so from the Kraken's head, if you go to the left and go in the north direction, you're going to come across a window. And through that window, you can peer and see a couple of gold pouches sitting on a table next to some rum. Turn your back to it, and you should see another fire-breathing cannon, which will be facing northwest side. Go there and seek a traveler that holds a wheel slightly askew. Alright, so over here we have a wheel that does have a gold tip at the top to show north. It is pointing in the east by northeast direction, which is back towards the island, sort of where that land bridge is right there. When you travel to see this light, see more and pass on by. On the wheels, rings of gold spy through the scaffolding, a light up high. Okay, so the light up high was going to be the one found inside of the cave area. Up some rungs and walk the planks until you find a pole to rise. So we're going to have to go to the main island to walk over that way. So it should be this light here that we were seeing. Up some rungs, then walk the planks until you find a pole to rise. Alright, once you get to the very top, if you look off to the north by northeast, you'll see one more dock that has a red tarp over it. And at the top, turn and spy a dock of red that leads towards your prize. This is your next place to visit. At the end is in sight. Stand at the back in the drums and look the white and waxy lights. So we have to go over there next. Alright, so it says stand at the back beside the drums and look at the white waxy lights. Okay, so that'd be the candles. They line up with a tiny piece of your precious gold sands. Okay, so that'd be the sand directly in front of us. Now use your dragon to fly to where you must land. Basically a little bit to the right. That's it, you meddled in my plans for the last time. What's next? Unearth the item here and you'll feel sublime. Nice! That is going to be the final voyage. The Gold Hoarder's Hunt. That is going to be the final voyage for the Hoarder's Hunt. Get a bullion key, a peculiar relic, and a curio. Alright, so once you make it to the final gold hoarder, hand in your bullion key. And you get 3,318 gold. But you do get to see like the little golden chest there, so that's kind of cool. Legendary Gold Seeker title is now unlocked.
I got some gold. Do you want some?
Looks like it doesn't actually give you any extra for the gold hoarder. It'd be kind of cool if it gave you like a new outfit or something. Alright guys, thanks so much for sticking with this journey. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and we will definitely be back for the Curse of the Monkey Island when it releases on Sea of Thieves. See you guys in the next one.